So I'm Wray. I work for Yorkshire Water. I've been working for Yorkshire Water for about 18 months now. I'm a technical specialist. I work for with networks, but mainly with SuDS. I'm rolling out SuDS within some of Yorkshire Water. So this evening I'm going to be talking about the issue with combined sewer overflows, flooding, both external and internal, how SuDS can help with this, what the Yorkshire Water stance is regarding SuDS, how we adopt them, how we, practicalities are of being able to adopt them, what our systems are at the moment and how they're going to be going forward, and also any pitfalls that we're finding at the moment. So going on to combined sewer overflows and flooding as well. Combined sewer overflows have actually been a part of our network since wastewater treatment works were first designed. They're part of the design of the whole system, unfortunately. But as time's gone on, due to population growth, due to different demographics within the population, more people are living on their own now, so there's more housing, and all the infrastructure that's needed with that, and the amount of concrete that's been put down everywhere, that's led to more surface runoff. And that surface runoff ends up in the sewers. Then we've got climate change, and with climate change, as well as more rainfall, we've got higher intensity rainfall events as well. So that water's got to go somewhere, and unfortunately it's still going into those sewer overflows. We've got more urbanisation, with more people being in cities now as opposed to in the countryside, and also we've got population growth and urban climate change. We've got all this pollution is now going into our rivers and seas. And on top of all that, we've got rivers are actually being used more recreationally now, which I think is a good thing. Over the last 2 years, when we've been in lockdown and what have you, people have been going out into the countryside a lot more. We've got bathing waters in rivers and rivers with bathing water status now for the first time as well, which is giving an extra driver to clean up those rivers. So how does SuDS help? Sustainable urban drainage systems, they help to remove the surface water from the whole system as a whole, from networks, so it decreases that burden on the CSOs, as we're needing to have much more in the way of permeable paving, for instance, and things like rain gardens as well, getting that first 5 millimetres of a rainfall event so that it doesn't actually go anywhere except where it's actually falling, which is what nature designed in the first place. We were meant to have the soil actually water infiltrating into the soil at that particular point. So trying to sort of get back to that sort of status. And also to have a good SuDS management train. So instead of just having one SuDS asset, have a series of SuDS assets within a whole catchment or within a city or a town. So you've got your permeable paving, you've got your tree pits, you've got your rain gardens, and then you'll be going into, say, then you'll have your swales, and then you'll have ponds and wetlands, and all of this some of it will slow that flow down, some of it will attenuate, and some of it you can infiltrate as well. You can't infiltrate everywhere, unfortunately, because the amount of clay in some areas, but wherever possible, if we can infiltrate that, then that's great. Acts as attenuation, as I say, help with groundwater recharge as well. As long as we make sure that we haven't got the pollution, so hence if we can remove the pollution at the top of the SuDS management train, such as silt, have good silt management and good pollution control with risk assessments and ensuring you've got a soil layer, then we can infiltrate. And there are other benefits as well, which other people have alluded to, and those increased climate resilience. Within the urban areas, you're going to get the urban cooling a lot more. You're going to have increase in biodiversity. At the moment, unfortunately, we've got a lot of biodiversity in sort of little clumps. We haven't got those blue-green corridors anymore. So we're trying to sort of connect up those pieces of biodiversity, and that's how SuDS can help with that. And increased human well-being as well, making the streets more people-friendly, making, because you're being able to sort of have those new developments more people-friendly, then people are going to be more wanting to not use public transport so much, not wanting to use their cars so much, doing a lot more cycling, doing a lot more walking, and that's going to decrease the burden on the NHS with increased mental health, etc. So, what's our stance? Hopefully you've gathered by now, we're keen to adopt and retrofit SuDS as much as possible. Unfortunately, there are only certain SuDS that we are allowed to adopt from the code of adoption. However, we're encouraging other SuDS to be implemented at the same time. So with our new developments, the developers will come to us, and then we're gently encouraging to use the permeable paving and using pollution removal at source, and working hard with those developers to get those SuDS management trains as well, to get that SuDS philosophy. To embrace a hierarchy of connection as well. So we're discharging to groundwater where it's safe to do so, and to have that infiltration. Trying to make sure that we don't have liners as much as possible, and if we do have to have liners, make sure they're natural ones as opposed to plastic. Embed into business as usual as a viable, robust solution of first choice, so that instead of having to end up having to use concrete tanks to attenuate, have the SuDS as our first port of call. At the moment, that's work in progress because SuDS are so new, or new to the water industry. So we've got quite a few drivers. So therefore, it's going to be more of an iterative process. Also working closely with local communities and external organisations to aid the development of the buildability and ongoing maintenance of good SuDS. Trying to get those really good SuDS, especially with, as I say, with new developments, but also our retrofits as well. We've got retrofit schemes which have been under discussion and now picking up a lot of momentum in Hull. There's some in Doncaster, and we're looking at other areas as well. So I think I've alluded to some of this already. We're adopting all adoptable SuDS, and also encouraging other SuDS wherever we can. And then with our retrofits, then there's permeable pavings going in, there's rain gardens, I think we've got some swales as well. Discouraging the use of liners wherever we can, keep SuDS shallow as well. Maybe from a health and safety perspective, no more than a metre deep. But that helps with the biodiversity, and trying to have them staged and have long grasses and plantations so that we don't have to have fences in the long run. And as I've already said, SuDS management train, which helps to remove the silt. And also helps with the attenuation and slowing that flow down. We've got codes of adoption, we've got British standards, we've got guidance documents which we're needing to make sure and adhere to as well, and ensuring our developers, when we adopt those SuDS, for things such as the pre-digest for infiltration testing. We need to make sure that although we're wanting to infiltrate, that we're able to do that in a time, or the SuDS asset is able to do that in a timely fashion. So, SuDS management train, this comes from the SuDS train website, which I gained permission to use. As you can see there's lots of really good SuDS in there. There's the water butt, you've got kind of paving, you've got your green roof, you've got swales, filter strips, detention basin right at the end. So it's utilising all that space as much as possible. This was part of a 3-year project, and a lot of data came out of the back of that, showing the advantages of using SuDS. So what systems have we got in place at the moment, and what should developers, who should they be talking to? So we need to use something called an S104 process. That's on our website as to how to go about that, and that's all for our new developments. So you have your pre-planning stage, whereby we've got someone to look at those pre-planning applications, and to involve us at the earliest possible stage, and to give us as much information as possible, especially where things like infiltration testing, hydrogeological surveys, all that sort of thing, and making sure that we have the full picture, not just sort of, well, here's some of the information, that will be enough, and it's like, well, we need the whole lot. And also where our retrofits schemes are concerned, especially with Harlan, I think got Doncaster as well. There's lots of customer engagement, leafleting schools to aid in that education. And I think, as I've already said, it's ensuring that the information is presented at the earliest stage, so that if we do come up against any potential designs which need to be altered slightly, we've got time to do it, they've got time to do it. When maybe I'll get something come through and they'll say, well, we're putting the spade in the ground on Tuesday and it's now Friday, it doesn't give me an awful lot of time. So if we can have that information as soon as possible and have all the correct information, we've got checklists which if people can fill those out, then that helps us tremendously. And we love to see SuDS. We love to see a SuDS management train. We love to see the pollution reduction at source, and silt management. And we're wanting to use SuDS as much as possible. So thank you ever so much.